All righty. Hi, everybody. It is Melissa Haley. I am here for North Texas Top Team, and I've got a few folks with me today as we go live on Facebook. So welcome, everybody. Now, I'm Melissa Haley, broker with North Texas Top Team. And while we're waiting for everybody to join on the Facebook Live, let me quickly introduce everybody that we have with us tonight. So tonight I have Reagan Haley with me, and Reagan is an awesome realtor with North Texas Top Team Realtors, and she has literally grown up in the real estate business. So welcome, Reagan.
Hey there, everybody. Hi. Happy to be here tonight on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. We're so glad you're here. I know you've got a lot of good info for everybody. I also have Gabby Powell with us tonight, and Gabby is my right-hand person. She helps me run our office, and she's going to moderate the chat for us tonight. So we're going to make sure to answer all of your questions at the end of the night. And thank you so much for being here, Gabby. We really, really appreciate you.
Hi, guys. Super happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. And y'all, Gabby's going out of town tomorrow, so I'm just so excited that she
so, absolutely.
Thank you for doing it.
No problem.
Now, later tonight, Gabby is going to be posting a link for you guys to get some free information from us regarding the housing market and buying and selling real estate. So we have a lot of good info for you. But while we're waiting for everybody to join in on our Facebook Live, let's briefly get to know Reagan just a little bit better. So Reagan, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your real estate journey.
Sure, yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you, Melissa. So I am a native Texan, born and raised. I grew up in Plano. And then as far as real estate goes, I pretty much service Collin County area and pretty much all surrounding counties as well. I started working professionally in the real estate industry last year in 2021. But I've grown up with real estate in my family. As many of you may or may not know, Melissa is my mom. So I've definitely had real estate near and dear to me for about 15 years or so.
Oh yeah. I remember I used to be like, shh, be quiet. I'm on the phone, like literally every car ride, right?
Oh yeah, silent car rides. I often tell people that, showings and previewing homes was my after school care. So I have been a witness to many real estate events, transactions, conversations, and also just getting involved in the community. I think it's been a really great advantage for me personally, because it's helped me to kind of prepare for me for starting out as an agent.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's a benefit when you have an idea what you're getting yourself into. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. And for those of you who are just getting logged in, you have really great timing because we're just about to get started. And we have a pretty hot topic that we're going to talk about tonight on our Facebook Live. The topic tonight is how inflation is affecting the housing market. And I have to say, inflation's been a pretty hot topic on the news lately, even. I would say pretty much every consumer, everybody I know clear across the country is feeling the effects of inflation at this time, from higher gas prices to higher grocery bills. And of course, well, real estate's no exception. So, that's what we're going to chat about. There's a lot of good information. But before we get started, let me quickly remind everybody who's here that's chiming in right now that at the end of the night, we're going to provide a link for you to get some free information from us about the housing market. So stick with us, stick around for the next, 20 minutes ish or so, maybe 30 minutes, and learn some stuff from us about what's going on in the housing market. So anyway, with all of that being said, now let's get things started. So tonight I have Reagan Haley with me, and Reagan is an awesome realtor. She works with me at North Texas Top Team Realtor. So welcome, Reagan. We're so glad you're here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Yep, absolutely. We are glad that you're here because I know you have a lot of good information. And like I mentioned, today we're going to talk about how inflation is affecting the housing market, right? And many people are aware that the housing prices are increasing. They may have heard that on the news or whatever, but they might not make that connection to the general economy. So I think, what I'm hearing is some people are even asking if the housing prices, the higher prices that we're getting, if this is some kind of housing bubble. So I guess my first question for you is this, Reagan. Do you think there is a housing bubble?
Right. No, as you mentioned moments ago, inflation has been a really hot topic on the news lately. I agree that consumers are really starting to feel the effects of inflation. I think you mentioned gas prices, grocery prices, but home prices are way up as well. It's important for people to understand that it's not just a housing bubble, but it is instead inflation in the price of homes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I do think that the home prices are here to stay. I do think that they've just gone up and up and up, and there's no indication that they're going to be falling anytime soon, right? The market always does have some fluctuation. It's like the stock market, right? It goes up, it goes down, and you know, housing prices fluctuate, but there's no sign that prices are going to be falling anytime soon. In fact, I would even say from a real estate agent perspective, gosh, it would kind of be a nice change of pace just a little bit if prices just maybe found a little plateau and sort of evened out for a while. Do you agree with that, Reagan?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that my buyers would totally appreciate and just be excited if prices could just stabilize a little bit, if we could just get a little bit of relief. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, because it's hard to be a buyer right now, right?
It is, it is. It's
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah. Well, I know because I'm hearing all the stuff, and I know some home buyers are just starting to get priced out of the home buying process too, because the prices are increasing. So do you think that we will see any relief for home buyers, or do you think sellers are just going to keep getting top dollar for their homes?
All right. So based on just the competition that we're seeing in the market, there is no way that prices are really decreasing. There's so many people out there buying, and we have such a small inventory to work with. I've heard clients bidding on homes that have had, I mean, I've had personally clients that are bidding on homes, and we've had 40 offers. And I've heard from my colleagues and my fellow real estate agents that they've had, I mean, a much tougher time, more than 40 offers. So, it really is very common in the market right now. And it really is that homes are just that much more expensive these days. Many people want to get into these homes, and there just aren't enough. That's what's going to keep sellers getting their top dollar for their home.
Yeah, that does make sense. And you're right. When you're competing with 40 offers, I mean,
It's
that's
hard to
just
be the best.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here would be my thought. So real estate prices are based on supply and demand, right? And right now we have a lot of demand and we have a pretty low supply. I mean, like I would almost say non-existent. We have such a low supply. But I understand that interest rates are rising this year, right? And that's the Federal Reserve is doing that partially to help offset some of this inflation. Can you tell us more about how interest rates are affecting the purchasing power of home buyers?
Sure. Yeah, so it is true. Interest rates have been rising. That's true. Last year, the Federal Reserve mentioned that they were going to raise the interest rates 3 times in 2022. So over the past year in this crazy market, there's been a lot of heavy anticipation, wondering, when is this going to happen? When are we going to see these interest rates? When are they going to rise? Well, that time has come. We saw our first round of interest rates rising earlier this month. And although that the rates have risen, we still have such a high influx of people coming to Texas, businesses coming to Texas, household inflation on the rise, and supply chain issues. And there's just not enough homes being built to satisfy the demand for the homes that we need.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And I mean, we're living it in the real estate world for sure. So you mentioned rising interest rates, and we've already seen, like you said, that first interest rate increase earlier this month. And, anytime that they do that, the mortgage rates generally follow suit, right? So I know you said that prices are going to stay high. Sellers are going to keep getting top dollar. We've got this interest rate stuff. So with interest rates going up, won't home prices finally go down a little bit?
Well, that's what everybody's hoping for, right? Home buyers are definitely wanting and hoping for these lower prices, but it just doesn't seem that there's really any indicator that home prices are going to be falling anytime soon. The affordability will definitely become a challenge due to rising interest rates coupled with the rising home prices. Even if the home prices kind of stabilized a little bit, that would just mean a smaller price increase year by year instead of a huge price increase that we've been seeing over the past few years. I would say that buying a home right now is the smartest move that you can make, as inflation is just going to push the rent prices up as well.
Oh, gosh, that's a really good point too, because, rental prices are surely going to be rising right along with sales prices and interest rates, right? And we know that as inflation increases, the entire cost of living goes up, right? Housing included. So I will say, I've seen a couple of articles recently that are talking about large corporate investors. They're purchasing as many homes as possible, and they have the full intent of turning these into rental properties. They're paying cash. Sometimes they're probably outbidding the buyer that wants to buy it and live in it. But I'll tell you, I saw a CBS News article recently, and it said residential rent across the country went up an average of 15% last year. That's nearly twice the overall inflation rate. So, that's huge. And by the way, that's the average. So some went up higher, and some went up lower. But I will also tell you what I saw was, according to the Census Bureau data, some renters are spending as much as half of their total income on rent, which is just crazy. So I guess here's another question for you, as we're kind of thinking through that. With rent prices going sky high, does this help explain why home buyers are still willing to pay some higher pricing when it comes to purchasing a home?
Yes, the short answer, yes, yeah. Housing affordability goes just beyond the listing price and the mortgage rates. Keep in mind that to a home buyer and a home renter, affordability is comparing the cost to rent and the cost to own or to buy. So as rent continues to rise, home ownership may still be the cheaper alternative. So home buying also does come with some additional advantages, and a fixed rate mortgage could be your best bet in the face of this year's high inflation.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it does kind of make sense, right? That at least I'm going to know with my fixed rate mortgage, this is my house payment for the next 30 years, right? As opposed to, this is my rent this year, and next year it's going to get higher and higher and higher. So I guess, as we're kind of talking this through, what I'm hearing is that an inflation is going to affect affordability, right? Regardless of if you're buying or if you're renting. So let's dive just a little bit deeper in that. Can you break down the effects of how inflation works and how inflation and housing go together?
Sure. Yeah, of course. So basically, inflation affects the purchase affordability by widening the gap between home price and the household income. So this is true for renting, resale, and new construction. So for example, the National Association of Home Builders reported that the price of residential construction jumped 12.3% since the beginning of 2021. So, I mean, just as a personal example for me, I had a client who had friends that purchased in the neighborhood a year prior, and they paid $77,000 less for a similar floor plan, nearly the same, new construction home in the same neighborhood. So imagine that. I mean, that's pretty wild. These price increases are passed on from the builders to the consumers through higher home prices. Meanwhile, cost increases reduce people's purchasing power by making them spend more money on the same product or service, leaving just less money overall for other things.
I totally feel you. God, $77,000 in 1 year for the same house. Oh, man, no wonder home buyers feel like they're totally getting squeezed here. And I think, hearing that was really great. Like, to hear an actual example, I think helps people understand the fact that houses have been going up, right? And that inflation has been occurring in real estate since way before it became a hot topic on the news. But let's chunk it down just a little bit more. And I don't know if you can give us an example, but it would be great if you could. Can you give us like an example? How does inflation affect affordability?
So sure, yeah, let's just use some smaller numbers. So let's say we have a home and it's priced at $150,000. 2% appreciation it would increase just slightly to like $153,000 in just 1 year.
Okay.
But it would rise very significantly at a 15% inflation rate. So that would be about $172,500. This means that a home buyer that makes $50,000 per year, I mean, they could have qualified last year, but with a 15% increase, they would need to be making $55,000 or more to qualify to buy that home just at a higher price. So it's difficult. And also, let's just be aware, these are examples. We don't have anything on the market in Collin County area that's at the $150,000 range.
Right.
Just
No,
to
I totally
simplify
get
things
that.
a little bit.
There's
That would be
nothing in that
awesome.
in our area, but it's good for easy math, right? To just
Yeah.
kind of quickly calculate some of those. But gosh, even a $150,000 house now worth 172,000 just a year later. That's not even as extreme as the example you gave. And the example you gave is probably more real world. It was probably a $300,000 house, you know? Man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so
Yeah.
I'm just still trying to like soak all that in. I mean, it's great information, but I can totally see where a home buyer might be having that feeling that, you know what, I better hurry up and buy a house now because I'm totally having some FOMO here. I need to buy my house. I don't want to be in this apartment forever, and prices are just going up and interest rates are up and so, you know, I totally can see where maybe they're going to regret not buying a house sooner. So
See that.
let's
I
kind
do
of
see
get off
that.
of the buyers and let's chat about the sellers, right? Because the sellers are on the whole other end of the stick and they're like, yeah, this is great. So,
Right.
so since it doesn't sound like prices are going to be decreasing anytime in the near future, is it now still a good time to sell a house?
Yes, it is a great time to sell. Right now, you're going to get multiple offers. If priced accordingly, you will get above list. The amount of buyers that there are out there just searching for homes compared to the sellers, it's put us in what's called a seller's market. So this means that there are just more people looking to purchase than people that are putting their homes up for sale. So this just gives the seller the upper hand to be extremely picky about which offers that they choose.
Yeah, this totally makes sense. And I agree 100% because really we've been in a seller's market for years, right? It's not new. We started being in a seller's market way before the pandemic even, but I do feel like it's gotten a lot tighter. And I do think some people are probably wondering, like, how did we even get here? How did our housing market get so tight? And for that matter, why do we have a shortage of houses?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we got here one step at a time, right? So back when the market crashed in like the 2007, 2008 time period, we had a housing shortage from the Great Recession. Builders just stopped building. It was a very volatile market, volatile time. So many years ago, when that happened, we start kind of inching our way back up. You know, our economy's making a comeback. Everything's kind of, we're getting there. And just as we're kind of getting back on track, it took us a while. The catastrophe that is COVID happened. And not only did that mess with the economy, but then less people are working, less people are employed. And in some cases, especially with building homes, there are entire crews that are just out of work, just due from the measures that we needed to take with COVID. Somebody in the crew gets COVID, everybody goes home. You know, some people aren't working. There was a lot, it was just really slowing things down. Not helping our shortage. You know, we're kind of getting out of the COVID a little bit, and bam, we just have this supply chain issue that just smacks us again. So it's just kind of one after the other, just things that are just right on top of each other that are creating this housing shortage that we're experiencing here in North Texas.
Yeah. You remember like a year ago and lumber prices were so high and people were like panicking. They're like, look, I've got a piece of lumber. I'm rich.
Yes. The 2x4s were like $3 and then they were like 15. I mean, it was crazy. So,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
gets expensive when you're building homes. It does.
Yeah, you need a lot of 2x4s to build a house. So yeah, supply
Yes.
chain issues, on top of all of the other things, like you said, there was a lot that kind of played into it. It's not like one thing just happened and bam, here we were, right? So, it sounds like it's been building into a stronger seller's market for a while, right? It's not overnight. Now, before we keep going, I do want to remind everybody, if you're watching tonight, don't forget, we're going to give away some free information tonight about both buying a house and selling a house in today's real estate market. And if you'd like some of that information, comment below. We'll get that information over to you. And certainly Gabby will be posting some things in the chat for y'all. So if you would like that information, feel free to participate there. And Reagan, gosh, you've had a lot of great information today. So I really, really appreciate all of your advice, all of the information you're giving, and gosh, giving up your time to chat with me tonight on Facebook about it. But I'm sure that our viewers feel like they're learning a lot. And I also think that hopefully our viewers are going to be able to tell that you're really passionate about real estate, knowing that you've grown up here and, all of those things. So I just want to thank you so much for being here tonight. So thanks for doing it.
Yeah, of course. I've been enjoying myself and, just learning about real estate. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're glad you're here. All right. So last thing that I would say is while we're learning a lot tonight, and gosh, real estate is just such a great investment all the way around, right? Because people that bought houses a long time ago for like 50,000, today they're worth, 250,000. It's just a great long-term investment overall. And while I think a lot of people are learning things from us tonight and getting some good information about what's happening in the market, I feel like it's overwhelming. And I feel like if I was a home buyer right now, I would just be panicked, not knowing what to do. Or heck, if I was a seller, I would be like, how do I price my house? So it's very overwhelming. Do you feel like that's what you're seeing with your consumers too?
Sure. Yeah. It can be overwhelming, definitely, but it really doesn't have to. A great agent is aware of these challenges. We are familiar with how to navigate what's going on in this market. So I will say that clients definitely do get overwhelmed walking into this hot market, maybe not even sure kind of how to wrap their mind around it. But with good representation, the right strategies, communication, it's going to get you where you want to be. In this market, there's no doubt you need representation. You must be represented by a professional in order to get what you want right now. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, gosh, it's no wonder people need a realtor to help them. It's crazy out there right now. So
you
yeah,
need someone to hold your hand through it, to walk you through it. You don't need to be guessing. We've got you covered.
yeah, for sure. And boy, you get that thing in the mail that says, we'll buy your house. Don't think that they're offering you top dollar. They're not, are they?
No, they're trying to get deals for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Get a professional to help you. I agree. Well, so thanks so much for all of the information and all of the tips today. And let me just see if anybody's out there that's watching that has any questions, that's maybe on Facebook Live. Gabby, do we have anybody that has any questions at all that we need to cover real quick?
I'm not seeing any questions in our chat right now, but you guys are doing a great job providing information to everybody tonight. So good job, ladies.
Awesome.
Thank you. We're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was a lot to cover for sure.
Yes.
All right. Well, so with that being said, I'm going to get us kind of wrapped up here. So hang on, I have a little screen share I'm going to put up here real quick. Hold on, let me get this rolling so that everybody can find us. So if you would like more information and you'd like to follow us on social media, it's got our contact information right here. And Reagan, huge thank you for you tonight to, sharing your information with us, sharing your expertise. Gabby, thank you so much for helping us out and making sure to monitor our chat. I really appreciate it. But Reagan, thanks again. Super excited you were here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. I had a lot of fun. This was a great conversation and I hope it reaches a lot of people. I hope people start thinking and they reach out and, they know that we're here to help and that's what we love to do. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So everybody, if you want more information about the real estate market, don't forget to check in the chat for the link where you can sign up. You can get a free market report about what's going on. You can get information about the home selling process, market data in North Texas. Follow us on social media, check us out online, give our office a call. Reagan's here. I'm here. Gabby's here. Heck, all of our agents are here. We have a whole team of experts that would be happy to help you with all things real estate. So thanks again, ladies, for all that you do for us. And y'all go out and call a realtor and get the help you need. All right, y'all have a great night. Thanks, Reagan. Thanks, Gabby.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.